national effort to call on lawmakers to protect domestic violence and sexual assault services is happening tomorrow. We're taking a live look this morning at the State House. That's because the Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence is helping to push the National Day of Action here locally. The coalition's executive director, Laura Berry, is joining us this morning on Daybreak to tell us a little bit more about the work that the coalition does. Tell us a little bit more about your organization.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. The Coalition is a statewide organization who works to support survivors throughout the state of Indiana and all the domestic violence programs working here locally. We provide legal services, advocacy services, housing support, public awareness, just so survivors can obtain safety.
And I know that you guys are planning a day of action. Can you tell us a little bit more about that effort?
Yes, we're planning a National Day of Action tomorrow, June 5th, to really bring attention to our members of Congress and our state and local leaders to let them know about the impact that federal funding cuts, delays in funding is really having on critical domestic violence and sexual assault services.
And tell us a little bit more about how these funding delays and freezes are impacting Hoosiers.
Yeah, they're impacting Hoosier survivors because the termination of grants, the delays in funding out to these programs who are doing critical and vital work at the local level is really putting them at jeopardy of closing their doors. Survivors aren't able to access services and resources without these fundings. Programs can't count on the funding to come in, so they're not able to house the survivor successfully, bring them into emergency shelter, provide services, funding, and support for them.
So funding is critical for survivors.
Federal funding is critical and essential for these service providers. Most of our programs are operating on a shoestring budget. They're depending, some of them up to 80% of these federal grants to be able to serve survivors of domestic and sexual violence in their communities.
So what should people do to help?
Yeah, what can they do? So on our National Day of Action, we're asking you to reach out to your members of Congress just to say these services are critical. We need these supports within our community, and these funding cuts, these delays and terminations impact our ability to serve survivors. Also get involved in your local community. Participate with your domestic and sexual violence program. Donate, volunteer.
And you're asking folks to contact their senators and representatives, even using some hashtags of Fund Safety Now, Protect Victims.
Yes, please go to your social media, use these hashtags, call in your legislators to really support these efforts within your state. It's valuable to your community and to survivors.
What do you have to say to survivors that may be struggling right now?
We're here, we're available, call for help and support. You're not alone. It's not your fault. We're here to help you achieve safety and stability for a healthier future for you and your children.
Great information. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Daybreak. We'll get the information online so that you can participate in tomorrow's Day of Action.